Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us for another Spotlight Series segment. I'm James Green, partner and VP for content at ActualTech Media. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is VDI, end user computing, that sort of thing. And I've got some special guests to help me have that conversation. So before we get started, let me introduce them and their company, ZeeTim. So Sabir, let's start with you. Would you quickly introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Sabir Tapory, CTO of ZeeTim. I have 25 years experience on, let's say, Citrix technologies, and now it's more VDI technologies.
Amazing. Well, it's an honor to speak with you today. And Omar, would you introduce yourself and maybe also say a little bit about ZeeTim, your company?
Yeah, sure. Hey, James, and thank you very much for Actual Media having us on the segment. So I'm Omar Kechrid. I'm the VP of Business Development. So I look after the business activities, the marketing activities at ZeeTim, and especially our new development in the US. Growing the brand as we have in Europe. For the last 10 years.
Great. So the technology that we're going to be talking about has a few different aspects, and I want to get into each of those things. But broadly speaking, what we're talking about here is basically enabling end users to connect to either their applications or their desktops. And for businesses deploying that sort of computing infrastructure, they'll often deploy what are known as thin clients. And so part of what we're talking about here is that it's the thin client hardware and then the software, the operating system that runs there. A really important part of that whole architecture, though, is the management. And so I want to start by having either of you, whoever wants to take this, talk about the solution itself, and especially about how managing a whole fleet of thin clients works, because that's really what this comes down to. The details of one thin client on a desk are important, but when the rubber meets the road, it's really about managing the whole fleet. And so tell me a little bit about the solution from a thin client standpoint and about managing a whole fleet of it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you're moving into VDI, the objective is to really centralize the management of your desktops and making life easier for the IT admins to manage all those users that are scattered, sometimes in various places throughout the globe. So once people move to VDI project, into VDI environments, the same question applies to what to do about the endpoints. So you have a lot of endpoints. Most of this world, most of the endpoint world today is still, I would say, 70, 80% Microsoft. People are using Windows, and that's not easy to manage. Even though you've centralized actual desktops, you still have an endpoint piece to manage. So what makes more sense is to really make that operating system way lighter. So what we've done is we've made it, we've used Linux, we've made the operating system extremely light, extremely secure, and purpose-built for that purpose of just connecting to RDP or ICA or HDX and Citrix or whatever protocol may exist, to get you there. Now, the next piece is, how to simplify the management, because in a traditional Windows world, you have to constantly patch and do, updates and worry about antivirus, So in a thin client, in a thin or zero client operating system, it's much more easy. You have a management tool, and we've made our management tool very, very intuitive, and we make it extremely easy to do the changes that you need to do, but also not have to touch this thing, more than what you have to. Okay, because the device is very lightweight, there's very few moving components. So we do it in a way that you don't have to mess with it more than you have to. There's a lot of elements of security. Maybe Sabir, you can speak on as to how we run packages and stuff like that within the device itself.
Yeah. So first thing regarding the management tool, it can manage tens of thousands of devices without every day. Without any issues. First thing, another thing is that we can manage any kind of devices, whether it's in the LAN or it's outside the LAN through internet, without any needs of VPN or whatever. So it's really, really convenient to just set up once and nothing to do. Users are at home or in the office or in a branch, that you can really manage them without any effort or additional configuration. Second thing, all the communication between the management tool and the devices are ciphered using, are through SSH protocol. So and we have added features like there is no password, so we have to use a pair of keys for each customer, for each branch, to be able to manage the devices. So nobody can come and say, let's run the configuration tool and try to configure the devices like we can do with other thin clients. We need to have the key to be able to connect and configure the devices. So this management tool can do anything on the device. We can really upgrade any package, any applications, or the whole device using that, and we can start, shut down them, and do anything. We have to do. So the aim was to have a device which is like a keyboard, and so it's like a consumer. It's a consumer product, and also we don't need to have to go to the user to do anything. Everything we should be able to do it remotely, without any help of the user, and being anywhere, not particular in the office. You can be, as an admin, you can be anywhere, connect to the management server from anywhere from internet, and manage a device which is at home, a user's home.
Neat. One of the problems that a lot of adopters of a thin client architecture have faced is peripherals, and by extension of that, printing is one particular issue, but all types of peripherals can be challenging. Could one of you speak a little bit about how you handle the pass-through of peripheral devices, and specifically how you manage printing challenges?
Yeah,
Sure. Go ahead, sir.
Mainly all of the devices today have are handled by our operating system. One reason, one proof of that is that we provide also this operating system as a software, and as a USB bootable key, so you can just plug it to any kind of device, and you will be connected to your virtual desktop. And all the peripherals you may have, that can be a scanner, a passport scanner, or a real scanner, or a printer, or a fingerprint device, or they are all reconnected instantly right now. The reason for that is we have built our own printing software that allows you to reconnect any kind of printer directly to any virtual session, without having the driver, even locally. Just having the driver and a print server, and you'll be able to print. And we have also a scanner driver that allows to have any kind of scanner connected locally and be redirected to your virtual desktop. The printing and the printing solution is really effective in bandwidth management and in bandwidths. So we really compress all the stream coming from the virtual desktop to the local device, and also we completely remove the need of managing the drivers. The solution helps you to have one single place where to store all your drivers on a print server centrally, and any kind of device, any kind of printer connected to that device can be used to print any document from the remote, the desktop.
Very good. Omar, who is this solution for, or what sort of use cases does it apply to?
I mean, the use cases can really vary. I mean, first off, most of the people that we deal with are VDI users. We have had exceptions where one airport, for example, had just an application that ran on Firefox, and instead of running it on a Windows PC, we were able to move it to our operating system on a Linux device, and we were able to work with the customer to get it, operational like that. So that's outside of VDI, but the predominant, use cases usually are VDI scenarios. Customers want to simplify the management, they want to ease the security. So we've had, a variety. I mean, education is big, where they're trying to move labs, convert those PCs in their labs to easier to manage, more hardened devices. We've had users, more secure, especially now with everybody working from home. How do you know what that person is doing from their home workspace? So one of the easier solutions is to give them a thin client, that they connect to a monitor, and they're up and running with everything they need. There's one concept that we do that is quite interesting in those remote use cases, which is running a thin client on a USB. So you can actually put our operating system on a USB, boot your device off of that USB, and have a completely segregated environment on that user's laptop. But usually the factors that will push you towards thin clients are, remote desktop, remote application. You want to secure, you want to ease management, and oftentimes if you have hardware, it's the cost saving factor of not even having to change your hardware, because you don't need much in terms of power when you're using a thin client. So I think that's where the use cases can really vary. But
yeah. And just if I may add something, so the use cases we are having today, real use cases are retail, I mean shops who needs point of sales. They use that a lot because they have now not only one application to run, so they have several applications. So they are using more and more VDIs to put this application to serve the application. So we have like huge luxury groups using our Finlands as a secure POS to connect to their VDIs. We have also like government institutions who needs to have a secure desktop where user cannot change anything. They are also using this kind of device, as Omar said, in airports when you need security. And the last but not the least case, use case is all these banks and insurance today. So they used to have this remote these devices in the office, and when last year they asked their user to go home, they want to have the same secure device to connect to their system. So what they did, they asked the user to use the key. To use our special key to connect to their own device. Or some of the banks have asked the user to take home their Finlands. So it's often is security oriented. Use cases are when they will need some secure desktop where user cannot change anything and very easy to manage. And everywhere VDI applies, then use are happy to use this kind of devices.
Very good. Well, gentlemen, this has been a fun chat. We're out of time for today. If people are interested in what they're hearing and would like to explore a little bit deeper, what would you recommend they do as a next step?
Well, we offered one-on-one demos, one-on-one technology discussions, so you're more than happy to reach out to us via our website. And we're very open to giving information about endpoints, endpoint security, conversion of thin clients, MFA, printing, all these aspects. I mean, we come from a system integration background. Actually, I didn't mention this, but we arose out of a system integrator. So we know, the real world issues that exist, and if we can, even if we can just provide advice, we're happy to talk to customers.
Yeah, and everything can be downloaded from the website, and they can try it by themselves. I mean, you can try it on the operating system, put it on USB key, you can try it. You can download the printing software. You can download the MFA software, and you can use it. I mean, by your own, just connecting to the website.
Awesome. Well, Omar, Sabir, thank you so much for joining us on this Spotlight Series segment today. It was a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, James.